text me. It's 478-256-7455. And for those that got a short-term memory, it's 478 below silk. No kidding. 78 BLOSILK. You will never forget it. It is instilled. He knows my number now. Trust me. He will never forget my number.
Oh my gosh.
For real.
That's the number I call.
Yes. Blowing me up.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't never call you no more. I just shoot you a text. Gosh dang.
A lot of people blow that number up now.
Wow.
Oh man.
I'm sorry, no pun intended. Okay.
Alright, back to business.
Back to business. But
So let me carry on while he left. So I actually started Rough Riders while I was active duty as well. So I've been a Rough Rider, I don't know, probably over 15 years now. Other than our founder, one of our founders, Solo, I'm the next oldest Rough Rider for the Macon chapter. But I think we've got him back now.
no.
No, he's not back. Hey, I'm telling you, you guys will never ever forget my number. But also answer his question while he's sitting over there thinking about all this. I do travel outside of town. I've DJ'd out of state and stuff I've DJ'd out of state for like Genuine for the older heads, Jacquees for the younger heads, Young Thug. I've actually DJ'd for those people, and I've done sound as far as like setting up the speakers. Like we also rent concert gear. My partner and I, so we've done sound for like YG, Future, Bootsy, Trina, 3-6 Mafia. So the list goes on and on and on, but I don't want to bore you to death with that.
You probably won't, because like for real, most of them, just to hear those names that you work with, you know, those big names. Yeah, but Low Silk.
Low Silk. PLOSILK.
I actually lost touch of what I was finna say off of that one.
I did answer his questions though before he went.
That's true.
Yeah.
Coming back to the military aspect of everything, I know we've been going on for a little while with this talking, and I know you said you did 5 tours.
Yes.
In theater. Now, again, Facebook, we like to stay respectful, and if there's anything that he wants to talk about as far as being over there, we will listen. If not, we understand. We will respect that. Nothing?
I mean, the only thing I like about being deployed in a desert. So since I've been in, I've done every operation except Kosovo. I did Northern Watch. I did Southern Watch, where I can't remember which. I think it was Northern. I had to do search and rescue missions. We would run around and fly forward and pray to God nobody got shot down. Then after that, I did Iraqi Freedom. We did support for that, and then I did Enduring Freedom, where we were in Afghanistan for that. The biggest thing about being deployed is kind of going back to the whole camaraderie thing. Like, that was the best time to really make new friends or family friends, because that's all you had, and that's the people you had to depend on. There was, like I said, some bad things that happened, i.e. plane crashes, drone crashes, whatever, bombs bursting on the base, suicide bombers. There's all kind of stuff that happens, but you have to just kind of keep going. You can't stop because of that, because it's still, you're doing it for whatever reason, you know, that you're over there. You know, the government might say it's this, the people say it's that, but whatever the reason, you're doing it for that reason, and I just keep it at that. But the biggest thing, like I say, it's just the people. For me, it's always just been that I know I can call right now and say, hey, what you got going on, blah, 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 blah. And you can carry on a conversation like you never missed a beat, even though you may not have talked or spoke to that person in a year or more.
That's true.
So that is the thing I liked about deployments. And honestly, I like going, if I have to go on a deployment, I'd rather go to a deployment at what we call a bare base, meaning it's not established. Because when you go to an established base, like say Qatar or Saudi Arabia, they had dorms and you have all the creature comforts of home, and it may sound crazy, but there's a reason I'm saying that. When you go to an established base, there's more politics involved. You have all these meetings about what you just talked about at the last meeting and talked about at the meeting before the last meeting. Like, it's just like you're here in the States. Whereas, like, when we went for Iraqi freedom, we were setting up in Qatar. Right now, that base is called Qatar or whatever. But when I went, it was rocks and tents, and it was Camp Andy. And literally, we were setting up this whole base with bathrooms and tents, and just, you know, we had bottled water. We had to always go get pallets and pallets of bottled water to drink because there was no little water system there, and you wouldn't want to drink it if there were. So the thing was, everybody was so busy trying to set up their base, I mean not their base, but their sections and all that, that there wasn't a whole lot of BS going on. Everybody, it was like you were establishing a new colony or something. So like if he worked in the medical field, like matter of fact, okay, let's use my example. So I worked in the medical field, and say the people in the dining facility needed something from me. I mean, sometimes you can just trade. Well, look, I can do this for you if you could give me like maybe an extra lobster tail or something when dinner time comes. Or CE guys, hey, I need some wood to put this tent up, but they needed like a first aid kit because a lot of them, you know, a lot of people get hurt when you're putting all that stuff up. So that was what made it more fun to go to a base that maybe didn't have all the facilities. Yeah,
the bartering system.
Yes, the bartering system. Just people willing to help out just because they wanted to do something and not just sit around and do nothing because there was so much to do. But yeah, you would lose your creature comforts because we didn't have flushing bathrooms. It was more so like a huge tent filled with a box. Just one big box in the tent. And a flap on this side, a flap on that side, and a flap in the back so you're not rubbing butts. And this is you on the toilet as people walk by in front of you. So you're like on the toilet.
Yeah.
The bad thing was being a medic, and so everybody who might have had an itch or some other problem, they're like, hey doc, da da da. I'm like, this is private time. I mean, there's an invisible door right here. This is private time. Get with me when I'm not in my private time.
True.
So, you know, like I said, you miss those kind of things, but it made up for it because it was so fast paced because everything was moving. Whereas if you went to a base that was more established, I mean, I went to one base, we were deployed and we were playing bingo. That was like the biggest thing, win prizes, playing bingo. And I appreciated it, don't get me wrong, but to me, that deployment lasted longer than the ones where you were just constant tempo, just moving. I mean, I'm sure most of you guys can imagine that at whatever job you're at. If you're in, like, say, customer service and no customers come in, you're having a long day. But if you're busy, and I'm not saying just overly busy, but just steady busy, that day goes by faster. So for me, those bases that we were setting up and the ops tempo was a lot faster, was more fun because you didn't have a whole lot of time to be bored. So that's you know, without getting into all the weeds about deployments, that was probably the biggest thing that I liked, other than the poop pond jokes. You know, a lot of poop pond is the big lake of poop and urine that gets, you know, ciphered on the base, and some people did some crazy things, i.e. bet if they can swim through it. All I will say is it was a Marine.
It's always a Marine.
It's always a Marine. And that poor soul had to get shipped off to Germany to Landstuhl because he was sick.
Yeah.
You imagine swimming in water and you always get water in your mouth, so imagine swimming in poop and urine. So yeah, he was sick. But yeah, that was kind of funny, but kind of gross at the same time.
I would say they had to be the craziest.
It was $1,000 bet. I guess it was worth this $1,000
Nah.
to me. That's not even remotely close enough.
That ain't even no.
So yeah, other than little fun facts and stories and stuff like that, the desert was a lot more fun when we had a higher ops tempo than a slower ops tempo. I will say one of the most interesting, or whatever you want to call it, when I was in Afghanistan, we did do. So let me see. When I was in Qatar, when it was Camp Andy, I did get to meet Vice President Dick Cheney. He was vice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was vice at the time. So I got to see him. So I got a picture with Dick behind me. And then in Afghanistan, my last tour, we had medical coverage for the SecDef, who at the time was Leon Panetti. So I was actually able to get one of his coins for covering medical coverage for him. So the ongoing joke that I have, like with my oldest son who's in the Army, is because his supervisor really is into coins. I was like, well, take a picture of this and just let her know that this is what I have. Mm-hmm. So, because there's only 2 other coins higher than that one, which would be the vice president and the president. So, if you ever have a coin check, that's probably the coin you want.
If not the president.
Well, yeah, I just don't. I don't think me and the president are ever gonna meet. I was fortunate enough to even to just get the SecDef. So, other than that, it's like Surgeon General. I got Surgeon General coin for working a crash. I've got several other generals. I even have an Army Sergeant Major, which is pretty big for an Air Force guy.
Yeah.
Because we help fix their clinic. Imagine that.
Got a coin from an Army Sergeant. You know what? I did get the only coin that I did not get was an Air Force coin. I got one from every other brand. Surprisingly, Navy do have coins.
I think all of them have coins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the only one I didn't get was Air Force because I didn't really work with y'all like that.
Yeah.
But I guess we're gonna close it out. But before I do, I will ask, because I did ask Flop out of this. Did you work with any of the special ops?
Yes, because I had to do the search and rescue missions.
So PJs?
Yes.
Good show. Them dudes there. Now, I don't really have much respect for a lot of special.
Here it comes.
But them dadgum PJs, oh my gosh, them dudes got balls.
They do, but let me ask you a question.
Okay, go ahead.
So, do you know that the Air Force has a special ops?
PJs is one of them. And I
more elite than the PJs. PJs are more medical oriented.
Yes.
But do you know that there's an elite special ops unit in the Air Force? It's funny because they make movies about
SEALs.
The SEALs. SEAL Team 6. And
to be honest with you, SEAL Team 6 really wasn't the SEAL team that actually.
I know.
Okay.
But anyway, they have all these SEAL movies, and then the Army has
Green Beret.
Marines are just Marines.
Actually, they're Force Recon, but
What I'm saying, but Marines they're all supposed to be all bad boys. But people don't realize that a lot of stuff, there's a Air Force Special Ops that actually goes in usually before everybody else, and they are bad.
It ain't Delta, is it? No, it ain't Delta. Delta.
They call it the Air Force Combat Controllers. They made
ACC.
one movie about them, but those guys are real bad boys.
I will say now, a lot, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but the ACC, I have heard of that. But they do actually a lot of joint operations with SEAL team.
Yes.
As far as they do a lot of on land, but the gunship, the C-130 gunship.
They do a lot of stuff before a lot of people even get there, like mark targets and everything, and make a way. But it's funny because a lot of people, like I said, do have a joke about the Air Force, but we actually have our own spec ops and all that other stuff. It's just a lot of people
you're
don't
most
glorify
known,
it.
even though they're not known like talking about it. Still, you don't really hear about the ACC, but you do hear about them PJs.
Yeah, about the PJ.
And I was like, gosh, damn.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if I was to put it, okay, here's a good question for you, since you asked me that question. If you was to take all branches and you was to go with their special ops, what would you rank them from, like, in top of the top to
Today or yesterday? Like our generation or old generation? Because back in the day, I would probably say it would seem like, because wars are fought differently.
Yeah.
They're more tech driven than boots on ground so much. So our numbers as far as kill rates and stuff are a lot lower. I hear in the media, for example, they say, oh, more people have died by COVID than killed in 8 years in Afghanistan.
Oh, crap.
The difference is in the way we fight wars, we don't send 2,000 troops to storm a beach.
No.
We drop 2,000 pound bombs to storm a beach. So wars are fought different. I think back then, like the Green Berets were probably the best known for like World War One, Two, whatever. Yeah, Vietnam. They were probably the bad boys then. Now I would probably say the way we're fighting with the mind and tech, it would probably be the combat controllers, the SEALs. I'm not saying the Army's not, but it's almost like the Green Berets and the Marines are kind of, to me, seem like they mesh in their mission now.
Well, I ain't not gonna say the Green Berets. I don't go with Rangers.
Yeah, even the Rangers, because they don't. You know, it's funny because I was talking to my son because I want him to go airborne. I was like, when was the last time you seen them drop troops
Anywhere.
So why do we still have these jump dudes? I understand Halo jumpers.
Oh, Halo, yes.
Halo, I get it, because you're going in nights, like super high altitudes, like you're on oxygen.
40 grand.
To jump, because you're trying to go in somewhere behind enemy lines undetected. I understand that. But when was the last time, other than the air show, we dropped a bunch of troopers in through a parachute? You don't.
I think the last time that was like a war.
Yeah.
Because they didn't do it in Vietnam. They did not.
So it's kind of like, you know, certain. That's why I say I think it's a little bit different today than it was, like, say, when our dads or whatever was in wars, because it's fought differently. I mean, we're flying drones over there, and the controllers or pilots are here.
Yeah.
So that said, I kind of rank them like the combat controller SEALs, because they still have to go in there and infiltrate and mark all these targets, lace them or whatever for the bombs to be dropping on them. So I think those two are probably the two bad boys, because again, for me, PJs, I've worked with the PJs because when they're short, my job was to be like a PJ.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
strapped.
Yeah, when they were short, they pulled us into that job. So the PJs, yes, they are in fact, they're like badass paramedics. That's what they are.
Yes.
Combat ready paramedics. So they're bad, but I really think the combat controllers and SEALs are still probably, in my mind, the two top
tier
special forces as far as going in without big support and doing what they do.
True.
So
I get that. Okay, though. So for you young guys out there, you know, I like to, before we end the show, spread a little knowledge to you. I know that you're still in school or whatsoever, and you might be thinking of joining. So in that, I would like to ask Master Sergeant Carbon to give a little insight for those who's thinking about joining the military, and or even if you're in school and you haven't decided that that's the route you want to go, you know, kind of, if these were your kids you were talking about, and say they're in the 10th or the 11th grade, and you got one child saying that I want to go into the military, and you got another one saying I don't know if I want to go into the military yet, what would you say to them?
So I think I kind of already said that at the beginning. If you don't have a direction in life, if you need a better stability in your life, the military is probably a good thing. We're one of the few countries where we probably don't send all our men into service for a year or two. Like Korea and some of these other countries, and some of them just military at 5. You're like, hey, you pick up a gun, you're fighting.
Yeah.
But so if you don't have stability, you have no clue what you want to do in life, the military probably is a good option. But again, if you have a good job, you're already a supervisor at Amazon making $20 an hour, you can make that a career as opposed to not knocking McDonald's or something. But McDonald's to me is not, to me, I'm not knocking anybody, a career for somebody coming out of high school, because you won't make a lot of money becoming a manager at McDonald's unless you're corporate level. So if you just, again, don't have any direction, you need some knowledge. Or the other thing is, it's funny because you go to college, you get an education to make money, but you leave college and you have to get a job to pay for college now because of the bills. So the military is another way that you can probably avoid that by doing 4 years. Do your 4 years, get a job deal, go back to school and you get paid a stipend while you're going to school, based on wherever you're going to school. It might be $1,000, it might be $1,300, but you get something while you're going to school and it's paid for. The other thing is, if you are, say, whatever, IT or a medic in the Air Force or Army or Navy or whoever you pick, you'll also have that many years of experience that you can put on your resume, because some people come out of college and they can't get a good job because they ask for experience. Like, oh, we want 2 years minimum experience or blah. So now you're like, oh, I got a degree, but it doesn't mean anything because I don't have the experience. So at least with that, you can have the experience, and they may take you because you have experience in the job over someone who has a degree and no experience. But if you really like that, now you can be going to school for that particular job on the civilian sector. So, like I say, I would kind of look at your life and say, hey, is this going to be good for me? Because the military is not a cookie cutter thing where it's good for everybody. It's just an independent decision you've got to make for yourself.
Agree with that. Although, like I was told, Flyby, is, to be honest with you, I believe everybody should at least do 4 years, period. And that actually would kind of fix the world of what's going on right now. You know, you got to be able to get along with people. So I feel that way anyway. But I want to thank you all for joining me and Silk over here. Again, if you are looking for a DJ, I guess, to do weddings or whatsoever, he is available. He's a very busy person, so make sure that, you know what I'm saying, you give him plenty of notice. Hopefully, I'm going to try to get him out there on the water one day, but he's not much of a fisherman. Gun guy, so you will see 9 times out of 10 when I do start hunting, I would say, gun season is in October.
Yes.
Right, okay. So, October, you more likely probably going to see him again, but we're going to be in the cold in, Georgia. Georgia, October is not cold. So, you will see him out there, though. You will see him out there hunting and so forth. So, you know, we're going to try to get him on some deer. But
that's good.
He wanted to take me hog hunting, but yeah, I ain't gonna do all that. Not unless I'm in a deer stand. I don't trust that bull crap. I done seen some damage that hogs will do. But Veteranbassin, we love you out there. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell. And hope to, actually comment on anything else that you might want to know from DJ Silk over here. And I'm pretty sure he wouldn't mind answering your questions. So with that being said, we love you out there. Stay up.
Later.